Cindy Moon, aka Silk, is one of the many spider people out there created to be a part of the huge Spider-Verse comic event. Created by Dan Slott, she got her spider powers from the same spider that bit Peter, but instead of finding freedom and responsibility, she was locked up in a bunker for 7 years. Peter eventually finds and frees Cindy during the early issues of his 2014 comic series and gets her adjusted back to society while gaining the superhero identity, Silk. This would be all fine and dandy as a story, but she and Peter have the urge to constantly make out during this and the Spider-Verse event thanks to some spider hormone bullshit. This made Cindy come across as an icky Asian girlfriend wish fulfillment character more than anything else, which isn't helped that she was practically a plot device during the Spider-Verse event. Apparently in 2021, Dan did address and apologize for how he started off this character's career, but the damage was still done. I know a lot of people still look at Silk's character and think she's a fumbled bag. And I can agree on the early appearances of the character, but later appearances made her one of my favorite Spider-Man characters, oddly enough. Again, it comes with everything the character has done after the initial bullshit, because writer Robbie Thompson came in to do a solo series starring Cindy Moon. The solo Silk book follows Cindy Moon, trying to balance her responsibilities of being a superhero, being a journalist at the Daily Bugle, and trying to figure out where the hell her family has been over the last 7 years. I'm gonna be blunt, guys, this was one of the first comics I read when I was getting into the Marvel side of the industry, so I might be a bit biased in my analysis of this. But I don't care because I love this series so much. I love the stellar artwork by Stacey Lee. I love how Silk balances the quips and heroics of the usual Spider-Man, but gives her own anxious twist on it. Speaking of twists, Jonah is actually a big Silk fan compared to his usual status quo of Spider-Man hating, which shows more nuanced sides to his character. He doesn't hate superheroes, he just hates Spider-Man specifically. Speaking of, when Peter does appear in these comics, he isn't smooching and instead is being a respectful mentor for the next generation. Not to mention the Fantastic Four crossover issue has the Thing saying it's slobbering time, and it's just a great issue of Marvel Comics in general. Don't even get me started on the last issue of the 2015 run, which tied into Secret Wars by having Silk experience the end of the world. While the book would come back very soon with the same creative team as most Marvel Comics after Secret Wars 2015 did, this is still an excellent cap-off for the story so far. We see Cindy and J. Jonah Jameson having a wonderful heart-to-heart as he gives the girl a clue to where her brother lives. She makes a mad dash on her way while saving as many civilians as she can. Even the recurring jobber villain Dragonclaw helps her out. The issue ends with Cindy finding her brother and embracing him as the world collapses. However, the Marvel Universe would come back, and so must Silk to finish off her solo book, and we have mixed results from here on out. We get some great expansions of Cindy's character dynamics of Jonah, her co-workers, and Black Cat of all characters. Unfortunately, tie-you issues to stuff like Spider-Woman and the Clone Conspiracy bogged down the pacing of what could have been a fun overall book, even if I did like the Clone Conspiracy arc. In my opinion, individual issues of Silk are often stronger than the whole package for this series, which is a shame because when an issue is good, it's real good, balancing the drama and fun you want from a Spider-Man story. But as an overall package, I can admit it's sloppy. The final issue is a bit rushed, but I won't lie and say it made me a bit emotional when I first read it. Despite its issues, I really love the Silk book. It has a lot of what I come to Spider-Man stories for, it eased me into the wider Marvel Universe along with books like Ms. Marvel and Gwenpool, and it made Cindy Moon one of my favorite Marvel characters. Currently, Silk hasn't had another solo book, but she still had her own solo adventures thanks to the genius invention of miniseries. For 3 years straight, Silk has gone 5-issue miniseries that ran throughout the year, which I think works for a character who's popular but not popular enough for an ongoing. The first of these miniseries was written by Maren Gu, with the other two being written by Emily Kim. While I don't have much to say on these series, they're solid enough, and the 2023 mini in particular gives us pirate and cowboy Silk with the drip, so automatic kino there. Sadly, they don't quite scratch the itch of Cindy's best stories, but they get the job done fine enough. And those are Silk's comics. She's far from the most groundbreaking character in the world, but she's one of my favorites in Marvel Comics' pantheon. Yes, a lot of that is first-time bias for being one of the first Marvel books I got into, but damn it, I think Silk is a unique spin on the Spider-Man formula and a great example about perseverance over creation. Cindy might have started off as a shitty stereotype, but other writers saw potential in her development and brought out the best in her, giving us a fan-favorite Marvel character who's now the post-credits stinger in a AAA video game. So, while I eagerly await for what a mainstream adaptation of one of my favorite Spider-Man characters would be like, do me a favor and check out Silk's comics, specifically her first solo series of 7 issues, which you can find in Silk Volume 0.